Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline History for uh August. So basically this is the all the frontline changes for the August of 2025. And the exact date for the mapping here is actually 30th of July all the way to 31st of August. So yeah, an additional 1 day because of the way how I was doing the mapping. So anyway, it is important to note that there was a rather big frontline change last month, the month before in July, which is 190.76 square kilometers. It was pretty big, and the Ukrainians did not have much. They only have 0.19. This time around, the Ukrainians in the month of August have launched a massive counterattack because they have because of the negotiations, with Putin, or with Trump with Putin, and all these PR needs, and also that the front line is collapsing way too much to the point where I think the Ukrainians find that they need to do something about it. They launched they launched a counter offensive, which is probably reflected on the graph, where you can the numbers there. You can see that the Ukrainians actually did do some major counter offensive. So so we will go on. I will cover this. Whoops, what did I do? Oh no, what did I do? Oh, yeah, oops. So yeah, so we'll go through the frontline changes, but you can already see that Koma front and the Pokrov front is the biggest offensive region by the Russian forces. So we're gonna jump to the okay. So I just leave it there. So the first one is over in the Sumy front. This is where the Ukrainians actually launched one of these major counter-offensive operations in the Sumy region. The Ukrainian forces actually managed to attack and capture, oops, too fast, to the north of Indrievka, as well as they have this geolocation that brought them to the rear of Vereshkine, as well as they're closing down a little bit on Oleksievka. However, the operations failed. It didn't manage to do more. They never captured Vereshkine, and I think they have sacrificed a lot of troops to try to get something here, but it didn't seem to get much. The Russians, however, on the other hand, managed to penetrate deep into Yunakivka, arguably capturing it, but there is never a confirmation of them capturing Yunakivka, and some tiny frontline change west of Yunakivka. So Sumy front is now basically a buffer zone as per what the Russians intended it to be. And the front line is not complete. That means the buffer zone is not as complete as I would imagine it's supposed to be. I think it could be deliberate. It could be the Russians deliberately, make it unbalanced so that the Ukrainians think that they have a chance, and they will actually do, send in more troops, invest more into the front line, and caught themselves into kill zones. That is a possibility. And the Ukrainians are very, adept. They're really good at, getting trapped in kill zones. So, I think I should just turn this off. Yeah. So yeah, so you can see the Yunakivka here. Yeah, I think this, this unbalanced frontline situation, it just attracts Ukrainian attention into thinking that there's some kind of chance, and very easily get them trapped in some death trap. The next front line, there's nothing over the Kharkiv front, the main Kharkiv front, and then the next frontline change, however, is actually over in the Kupiansk region. So in the Kupiansk front, there is some frontline changes. There is a little bit over in Stepova, Novoselivka, and then the main rest is over in Kupiansk itself. And this is so the Ukrainians actually claim, this is the Ukrainian claim, by the way. This is not a full capture. So the Ukrainians claim that they have counter-attack very successfully, and this includes part of Moskovka, which doesn't reflect much on our mapping. The Russians, on the other hand, actually achieved much more substantial frontline change in the Kupiansk region. They managed to capture the entire northern area here of Kupiansk and basically having a big chunk of Moskovka, and the entire south of Moskovka under Russian control. So this is way more significant, and based on our latest reportings, the offensive in the north of Kupiansk continued. While this before this, there was this very unusual geolocation of Russian forces over on the eastern bank of the Kupiansk. So until now, we still do not have any idea how is this linked to the main front line, how the Russians reached there. And if I were to join it, then it will represent some very massive frontline change, which it looks something like this, which is, I try not to do that because of there's a lot of assumptions. But for now, that's the main push where the Russian forces are now attacking into Kupiansk, and this is an ongoing thing. So that's happening. So this Ukrainian counteroffensive, yeah, I'm not so sure if it's legitimate or not. So that's the Kupiansk front. The one at Stepanova Novoselivka is a tiny one. It shows the Russian forces taking the junction, although a lot of the mappings right now do not reflect this. But yeah, we change things based on whatever information that was valid then. I forgot, is this a geolocation or not? I cannot remember. So then we go to the Borova front. At Borova, we have a major frontline change mainly around the Beriska and Dryevka region, with the Russian forces securing and advancing in the southwest of Lozova, as well as taking Zeleny High. This is one of the major actions of this Borova front, is the capture of Zeleny High. So Beriska and Dryevka. So that's the frontline change in this sector here on the Borova front. And then over in this Oskil Liman region, in fact, should we, yeah, can we put everything in? Yeah, this, maybe not, that's a bad idea. So okay, let's zoom in a bit. So this is the Oskil Liman front. Ukraine, this is also part of the place where the Ukrainians launched a counteroffensive. They allegedly have taken Novomihailivka, and they have penetrated into Rukuru. So that was the counterattack in this sector here. The Russians, however, kind of ignored them, and they managed to go all the way to Shandri-Holove and attacking into Darilove. So they're attacking Serene, Shandri-Holove, putting massive pressure on the Ukrainians, expanding a zone of control around this bridgehead. And they have also allegedly captured, or at least taken very advanced tactical positioning over at Koloziazi and strengthening the front line, securing Terni. So this is the frontline situation in this sector here. So you can see how the Russians, how the Ukrainians are attacking in, while the Russians are attacking out. And so that is the main gist. So this is the nice thing about the frontline history. You can actually see across the months what is the main big arrow movements over in the front lines. In the Liman Sivers front, so what you just watched is a segment of the frontline history report for the past month, for August. So a lot of crazy information I'm sharing in it, and I think the conclusion is shocking. So if you want to watch the full frontline history and also weekly reports, I try to do the frontline history for weekly ones. I do my best if I can. If I cannot, then a bit too bad, but I do my best. But exclusive videos only for paying members on YouTube memberships, on Patreon, Coffee, Boosty, and and locals. So if you're paying members, for DPA sergeant rank and above, which is a $5 per month and above, you'll be able to get access to exclusive videos, including this one. So I need your support. If not, based on just YouTube revenue, it's impossible to keep this going. So and if I cannot keep, I do not get enough revenue, I have to stop. I have to refocus my attention on other businesses, which I think, you know, everyone lose. So hopefully, you know, you can support me directly, uh, especially on Patreon. I would love, you can do that, you know, a subscription, uh, $5 a month. That will make a big difference, in my coverage of, you know, of all the things, you know, in the Ukraine war or in geopolitics. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update.